everyone, it's me, Alegra. I wanted to hop on today and share something that I've been wanting to share my entire life, but I've been so consumed with shame and fear, and I did actually suffer from PTSD for a good majority of my life, so it was very hard for me to share this story, but I feel like today I'm gonna at least try. So I wanted to share the story of how God saved me from abuse. And I have carried with me this shame from the abuse for my entire life until recently, actually probably today even. I realized, why am I feeling ashamed about what happened to me? I shouldn't be ashamed. To start from the beginning, I believe, not that I believe, I know, my mother was very mentally ill. For me, she was extremely abusive. She was very verbally abusive and physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually abusive. So she would abuse me since I was a child, since I was my earliest memory, 3 years old, of her abusing me. Her and my father, didn't feed me, didn't give me love, didn't do anything for me. So, recently I went to therapy, and the therapist explained to me that there are people that are psychopaths, and psychopaths have no emotions, and actually the only emotion they have is they get pleasure out of hurting people. So my therapist explained to me that my parents are psychopaths, and so they enjoyed, especially probably my mother, enjoyed hurting me as a child. That would bring her pleasure to see maybe me cry. I was raised by these two psychopaths, and so yeah, it was for me, it was hell on earth, and it breaks my heart because I know there are other children in the world going through similar situations right now, or even as an adult, people are being abused horrifically by maybe their husband, their partner, and it just breaks my heart. And I want you to know that I was there, and I have gotten away, and I have been healed, and you can be healed and get away too. But let me bring it back to how God saved me. After, I guess it was about, I'll tell you guys the God's honest truth. When I was about 5, I was just, sitting around, and I saw a vision of the Mother Mary, and she was above my mother's bed, and I just saw this huge vision of her, and I didn't know what to think about it. I was only about 5 years old, so I didn't know what it meant. She didn't say anything to me. I just saw her, this vision. And I remember I just looked and looked and looked, and I just kept looking at her, kind of waiting for something to happen. And nothing happened. She just stayed the vision. And I never knew why that happened, but I knew it was real. I knew that it happened. And I actually went and told my mother, and she just said, oh, it's nothing. But it was later on that I found out as an adult that the Mother Mary protects little children. That's what her her mission is, that she protects children, little children that don't have anybody. She's a mother to them. So as an adult, when I found that out recently, I was so blown away, because throughout my whole life I had a very special connection, but I never knew why. I didn't know why. But starting from when I saw that vision of her, and then when I was about 12, and there was a grotto, and I used to go to the grotto every day, and I don't know why. It was a grotto of her, and I used to just sit there for hours and read, or just to get away. And I never knew. I thought I just liked it there. I didn't know spiritually what was going on. But now as an adult, I know she was protecting me. God was protecting me, especially when I tell you guys all of the things that happened to me, and how I've always been protected by God, and how he saved me from these abusers, my parents, and other abusers that came later on. So actually, that was my first kind of spiritual experience. And then maybe about 2 years later, I was about 7 years old, and I don't remember what happened. It was just another day in hell for me. I remember though, I was crying and crying and crying hysterically, and I remember I don't know what happened, because so much of the things that happened to me are blocked out. My mind just, I can't, I blacked it out. So something happened horrific at the house, and I was crying and crying, and I remember thinking, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. And I remember just thinking, I can't take it anymore. You guys know what I'm trying to say, I don't know if I can say it, and YouTube might not show this video, but it was that. And I always thought, no, kids don't do that, but I've read about a lot of kids that do that, because it was that bad. And I was crying and crying and crying. It was so horrible. And I felt the Spirit of God come over me, and he told me, it spoke to my heart. In my heart, this feeling of calm came over me, and it told me that he loved me. And he told me someday you're gonna make me so proud of you. And the feeling went straight into my heart, and I never ever ever in my whole life forgot the feeling or what he said to me, and the strength that it gave me to go on, because I felt like, oh my God, someone loves me. And it was the most incredible feeling. And that he said, you're going to make me so proud of you. And that told me, like, I had some worth. I was worthy. Like, I wasn't horrible, because that was how one of the things that my mother used to tell me all the time was I was horrible, worthless, horrible. She would say all these horrible things to me, that I was so bad, that I was so shameful. And hear this voice and God, and I knew it was God, came to me and told me, someday you're gonna make me so proud of you. And it was like it never went away my whole life. That feeling and that voice and that phrase even never went away. So my whole life, I always was aware that I was wanting to do something that would make God proud of me, of him. That would make God proud of, yeah, you guys get it. So it saved my life. He saved my life that day, because I couldn't take it anymore, and I don't know, you guys know what I'm saying. So it was, it was that bad. But after that, I felt so strong. I had a mission. I felt that I had value, that I was going to do something good, that God would be proud of me for. He saved my life. And then after that, I felt like separated from them, like somebody loved me, God loved me, and they were not important. I felt like God loved me. He knows what he's talking about. That was the feeling that went in me that day. And it was like they were not important. He loved me, and that was all that mattered, So anyway, as a teenager, I went out into the world, and then, God saved me again so many times. There was, when you're a child in the world, a teenager in the world, even an adult in the world, and you're hurt, it's not that you attract these people, but in a way you do, because you have so much pain or maybe self-hate. And then these people, they come, and all these abusers came, all these horrible people came into my life to try to hurt me, or maybe they could see that some of these people that came, they knew I didn't have parents that cared about me. So there was like teachers, and there was like supposed family relatives, that came and to try to abuse me physically, you know what I mean, like sexually assault me. And God protected me from them, because there was so many crazy things that I could get into, crazy situations that God outrageously, miraculously protected me from these people. I remember one time they said, oh, we're gonna have her sleep at our house. One of these supposed relatives, and anyway, it wasn't really about family friend, whatever. And it was really like this adults that wanted to hurt me, just traffic me, things like that. And like that's what they do to kids, that they know don't have parents. So actually, I remember one time, for example, I had gone in the shower at their house, and I came out and something told me, almost screaming at me. It told me, don't get undressed. Something told me, turn around. And I turned around, and I saw that the closet and the clothes were moving in the closet. And I was like, oh my God, there's someone in the closet. And there was someone in the closet. He was in there. And I was like, oh, and then he came running out. Another time, there's so many times because, when you're, like I said, when you're a child in the world, a teenager, people know there's predators that know that you don't have a person protecting you, adults. So so many of them came. So there was even an older guy that came and actually lied to me. He told me he was my age, like 16, but he was actually like 26, 27. And I didn't know. I believed him, and lo and behold, he came and, acted like an angel for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden started, beating me, telling me, oh, you're a piece of garbage, you're this, that, and other. And, I was so messed up mentally from everything that had happened to me. I couldn't really think straight, because this is what abusers do. Like, he would physically abuse me, punch me, beat me, and then he would say, oh, I'm so sorry, and he'd cry and cry and cry, and he'd say, please, please, please. And so I got really, brainwashed and very, I couldn't think straight. And one day, it was so bad, and the guy was actually beating me horribly, punching me. And actually, I remember I was just crying and crying. I said, please God, help me, help me, help me. And I had this vision come to me, and it told me, and I know it was God, and he came to me and he showed me like a little girl, a little precious little girl, like a little 5-year-old girl. And it showed me, and he like told me that's what this guy would do to a child. Said, do you want to be around that? It was like a vision came to me and went straight into my heart, and I saw him like beating this little girl, and I said no. And lo and behold, like a month later, I just broke up with that guy. And then but he would keep coming and like stalking me and calling me, and just, anyway, he's a very sick person. But I met my future husband, and after I started going with my husband, it was like a month after I was crying and crying, begging God to help me, I met my husband. And this guy never bothered me again after that, because he was like afraid of my husband, because my husband's like, everybody thought he was like this muscular guy, whatever. And this guy that was like beating me was like this little tiny guy. And, in the neighborhood, everybody thought my husband was like strong, because he's a strong guy. What it's like when you're kids. So he was scared of him, so he never bothered me again. And then lo and behold, my husband is the most wonderful person. He's so nice to me. He would never hit me, he never treats me like gold. And we've been together like 20 years. God sent him to me. So there's so many things, guys. There's so many times that God saved me from abuse, and he's just always protecting me, and I'm so grateful. And that's why I also just want to let you, I'll be back and tell you more, because there's more crazy things that God did for me, miraculous things. And there's just so many miraculous ways that he did save me from abuse and from abusers. So I'm so grateful to God. Thank you, Jesus. And now I'm so happy what God has done for me. So miraculously saved my husband's life. He saved my life. I almost died. He saved my life multiple times from physically, because I had things happen. But that's for another day, I guess. I'll tell you guys another day, because I was wanting to tell you guys, but then, you know, I'll tell you guys another day how God saved my life from you know, the worst things ever. More anyway. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to tell you, you can always reach out to God. He is waiting to help you. I think a lot of people don't know you can ask God for anything. You can pray. You can ask God to save you from abusers, from abuse. Even I asked God to cure me of this PTSD, and he did. I feel that I'm cured now. Just recently, after I started going to church regularly, I feel 100% cured now of PTSD, and I had PTSD my whole adult life from what my parents did to me. So now I feel cured of that. So that's another miracle, because if you suffer from PTSD, you know how horrible it is, and to be cured of it is miraculous. So that's another miracle that he made for me. So I'm so grateful, and I just want to let you guys know, please turn to God for anything you need. He will answer your prayers. I mean, it doesn't happen like, you know, like that usually, but it will happen. Even, you know, it'll happen. Just be a good person, do good for others, you know, and God, and ask God, and pray as much as you all, you know, pray every day, and he will make miracles happen in your life. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me today and hearing my story, telling how God saved me from abuse. And so thank you guys so much, because you being here is another huge part of how I've been healed. So thank you, and thank you so much, guys. So anyway, I'll let you go. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.